Hello everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would do a part 3 on this, take a look at the workshop thing. And today we've got 5 different creations to show, and then a sixth creation by, it's a work in progress by another current author, and then an update on the space station that I was working on myself. So the first one here is by Artemis 1967. It is the Snowspeeder WS. Obviously a Star Wars Snowspeeder. Really, really, really cool. It's small, it's compact, it's a replica of something you've probably seen in the Star Wars movies, several of them. I was thinking of one in specific, but The Empire Strikes Back, I believe. Yeah, that had some of these in it, I do believe. Very cool, very cool. Again, I like, you know how it's typically kind of your grayish white, but then it's got the red accents on it that just kind of like make the whole thing look better. Think how much that those little strips of red add to it. Although it's, you know, typically kind of a white slash gray creation. That's very cool. Actually, a long time ago when I was playing around with a really old 3D modeling program, this is one of the things that I built because I thought it looked really cool then too. So, and I have thought about building something like this myself, but I seen this on the workshop a long time ago, and I'm like, it's already been done. And I'm not really into building replicas, but I thought this was very, very cool. It's definitely an older creation right now, but it's you know, kind of got like your oh, that's a Gatling gun. Oh, on the back of it, so it can shoot behind. That's interesting. A lot of these are pretty old right now, though. This is definitely a very old creation. But yeah, just to take a look at some specs on it. Does it work yet? That's a good question. So it doesn't have a very long spawn time on it. CPU wise, it certainly can work. Looks like actually just adding a basic core would probably make this function again. It looks like a, you know, a utility light combat kind of thing. You know, it's got a couple guns on it and whatnot, but it's a replica, you know, so it's like, what do you expect? Anyway, very cool creation. So the next one here, and this is the Valkyrie, and this is by author, God, it's listed different here, KVAR Facts. Information I got from the workshop is this is by Rainer Lute. So I'll have links to all the creations that I show except for the 2 that are not complete at the end of the video in the video description. So as in this one, this is a really, really cool design. This is a SV. It's a big SV. What I'm really liking about this is the complexity to the block shaping as well as variance in color. I mean, again, not a huge amount of color, but little noticeable things like it's like a tone up over in just this portion over here, and then you've got, of course, the black trim in various areas, and then the shaping of how the wings were modeled out, as well as all the other little detail aspects on here. It's even got a radar, so that's a bonus right there. So it's got a really cool stance to it. And I definitely think the overall design and shape of this is very cool looking. The shape combined with the highlight accents of little bit of the yellow, the different color toning, and some different things too on with decals. I haven't ever seen this done. Now I'm sure the author would have just loved to have just a 45-degree decal. That would line up, and I would like that very much myself, to do like angled boxes of decals and things like that. But it's cool that how it was done, and quite original and creative with that too. So I am definitely liking that. So let's take a look at the interior, and I'm going to go to to nighttime here to take a look at the interior so you can get an idea of its lighting, not to mention just take a look at the body on how those texture lights do accent the creation, which is really, really cool. Yeah, I like to do that obviously with like certain things too. What I found is if you get the right amount, everything's wonderful. If it doesn't have enough, then it can look a little boring. If you do it too much, then you can like overdo it, where it's like now it looks like a light bright. So this has got the right blend, the right mix. So it's not trying to overdo it, but it's got enough in there to really show the accents on it, which I think is really cool. So let's take a look at this interior here. Oh, so yeah. So we got our passenger seats here, kind of a troop transport, kind of, I bet you it's similar size and a lot of things to the Merc Renegade. This is a pretty big SV as well. In fact, before I go too much farther than here, let's just take a look at its stuff. So size class 3, yeah, it is a bigger SV. It's not giant, but it's pretty good sized. It's not too much so. Oh, I like this, all these different rooms in here. And again, a lot of detail on the inside, using some different textures as combined with different like deco LCDs, at least back here so far. And we've got our different storage units here. So we've got 4070s listed right there. And another one of those over here. I kind of like how it's got this walk path through here where it kind of goes off into the different rooms and different sections. Really gives the idea that the ship is quite large inside here. Oh, and this is pretty interesting too. So these back bays over here, these are like little pod bays or something here. So, that's cool. I wonder if anything actually is designed to go here. Other than that, oh, I guess they're drone hatches. So you park and you would easily be able to launch a drone out of these. So that is cool. And we got our ammo controller here at 625. So coming out to this, going around the hallway here. Oh, look at the fridges in the center here. Armor locker, a bunch of cargo boxes. And then we've got a bunch of constructors too. So this thing's really set up for building a lot of stuff when you're out in the field. And oh, another ammo controller over here too. Actually, it's saying this is ammo controller 3, so that would make sense. There was be one over here, and then we've seen the one back over there. So it looks like we also got a secure cockpit here. Wow, a lot of LCD action going on here, and exterior lighting, device control, stasis mode. I wonder what that does. I'm not sure. Stasis mode, engine mode. So I'll just turn on, okay, and then lighting control. Ah, so we had some, so did that turn on all the interior lights? Look at that. So, wait a minute. So this still has lights on, but it does certainly get brighter when I turn on the other light. So does that set up some exterior lights? Oh, so yeah, it does. Okay, so it turns on some lights on the outside of this. Ah, very cool. So let's move on up to the other room here at the cabin. The cabin. Oh, okay. So your first-person cockpit right up in front here. So you got access to that. Arrows. This is really bright in here. Yeah, a lot of texture lights in there. That's cool. Very cool. So yeah, this is just one of those creations that I thought, had a lot of time and attention to detail. Really cool shape and design. Yeah, very, very cool. So spec-wise here and CPU. Okay, so this one is probably made for, it was made a while ago, so it's not dealing with CPU at all, stock, and it's got a lot of RCS in it. So I got the same problem with some of my older SVs, quite a few of them actually. where they were very dependent on RCS. So it's got 98 in there. Obviously, the CPU would drop tremendously if the RCS were removed out of here. And let's take a look at how its thruster setup is. Here, let me get daylight again here. You know, and that is something that is so we got some lift thrusters there. I bet you this won't take off the ground. Oh, it does, yeah. Very cool. Just want to take a look. Okay, so we got a bunch of lift thrusters. We got some in the back there, and then some over here. I was just looking for the other thrusters on the creation, the strafing and whatnot. I'm wondering if they're just, are they hidden? Here, I do like that sleek look. I kind of wish a lot of times you could hide thrusters, and you can. I just don't like to, but I'm going to fly through the walls here a little bit and try to figure out where. Okay, so we do have some strafing thrusters on the inside of this. So it looks like for cosmetic purposes, a lot of the thrusters are probably hidden on here. But anyway, very, very cool design. Great looking shaping, cool aesthetics. It's got that aerodynamic look that I definitely do like with atmosphere flying things. So awesome work on this one as well. So the next one, I remember when this first hit the workshop. I kind of remember when this did too. Now I think this other one was before my time of looking at the workshop, but I do remember when this first hit the workshop, and this is the TFD-138 KAYUT, and this is by RS86 shoostar, and this was it's got a really neat post to it as well on the workshop, because it's like different parts are made and then put together and assembled. And I just thought it had that kind of gritty look to it, but very, very detailed. All kinds of intricacies going on everywhere with piping. And it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like this would be more of a Scar-like ship in what I build. Got that kind of rough, but kind of plausible and believable look to it. And using different wings to make shaping, and just a lot of intricacies. Like take a look at all this stuff here. You actually got your generators mixed in with the warp core and on display, and pipes going to like thrusters in the rear and stuff like that. And that stuff is really, really cool. Yeah, I'm just taking a look at this whole bottom piece here too. That's like a separate component. And then we've got like some exhaust pipes here that are more rusted out looking. Little attention to detail, things like that. Yeah, even over here, it's like kind of using the different decals to fade in like some slimy stuff that got put on the bottom. Yeah, and then we got some weapons on the front here as well. And for some reason, I thought this one had an interior on it, but I am not seeing that to be the case now. And I wouldn't think it would have. Oh, it does have an interior. No, I'm seeing that interior. How do you get to that interior? Oh, wait, I heard something open when I was over here. I thought I did at least. Oh, yeah, right there. Look at that. Right down the center hatch here. Okay, so then we got our cockpit over there, and a couple passenger seats, and yeah, everything's very nicely detailed in here too. Storage boxes. I think this was made predating cargo extension systems again. Ammo boxes, constructor stuff that we would put in the ships in the past. What's this do? Oh. And then we've got some fridges, or a couple fridges, and what's this piece over here? Armor locker. Okay. Just give it a quick lighting check here. Okay, So this would be nighttime. So it looks pretty close at nighttime. Kind of it's well illuminated. But anyway, very cool design on this one too. Again, this is a pretty old creation, so a lot of stuff that was done here was, you know, kind of ahead of its time. Like some of the stuff you see going on here with the LCDs, and keep in mind this is predating projectors and all the other fancy controls that can be done with LCDs now with all the Java commands, or I won't even say Java, just scripting commands, HTML commands I think they would be. But yeah, so it's just the attention to detail. Something I definitely look for on these creations, and this is it's a cool kind of more believable looking sci-fi ship, in my opinion. Yeah, I didn't even notice the extra glass up here when you're on the inside. That looks cool too. Yeah. Anyway, very cool design. I'll leave the link obviously on the video description, but you might want to check out the post on this one too, because it's got some really cool screenshots and like how it's kind of like disassembled and put together and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty impressive as well. So the next one is a little guy here, a Wolf APC, and this is by author. Well, it's listed here as Loserman, but I've got it listed actually as a name I can't really pronounce. Überwachungsstaat. It's definitely in a foreign language. The full name will be on the workshop creation. I can see why. So anyway, this one, what I appreciate on this one is that it's supposed to be a APC. And it looks like one. Basically, the shaping and the tires and the how the like the armor would be around like a military vehicle. Typically, basically, if you take an explosion here, the armor is set up to deflect that explosion away from the inside of the vehicle, and you'll see that on a lot of different kinds of real-world military APC type of vehicles, and it's all basically, it's just and that's another thing. What you'll see on a lot of like tanks and real-world vehicles is there a lot of times they'll have a lot of slants and solid angles, and that is kind of a deflection. It's part of its defense, basically. If you take like a tank shell to somewhere, when you have like an angled surface, you'll get that kind of ricochet effect off that, which will lessen the actual damage. If you had like a solid flat wall that it ran into, it wouldn't have any place to go. When it's angled like that, you'll get like if you could like visualize an explosion, that the explosion would like drift over like the front and off to the sides, and the same thing goes on around the wheel wells. So little things like that is what I do appreciate on these on builds, when people kind of like take that into account when they're building stuff. This certainly looks the part of what it is meant to do here. We're gonna have to go to night light here because we got lighting. I like the lighting. So yeah, this kind of got that. I'd imagine that this would be kind of more of a, you know, I don't know, I wouldn't say infrared, but kind of like a lighting that you couldn't see from a distance, that would illuminate the inside, kind of like you're doing a more stealthy mission and you don't want to be seen, kind of thing. But anyway, it's very cool inside here as well. This is, again, a very old creation, or quite old at this point in time. Looks like predating the cargo extensions as well. So we've got storage boxes, ammo boxes, constructor. Does have the med bay, O2, passenger seats, and the driver area. But anyway, very cool design. Definitely like that stuff. And then had some spotlights on too, which I did turn those off. I typically do that. A couple of these creations did have some spotlights on them, and for one thing, I guess even some of my oldest stuff might have had that going on too, but then I realized that I don't typically want the spotlights on. So by default, I usually have them off. Usually we'll have either a internal switch to turn them on or a P menu control to turn them on. But I would recommend, if you're building stuff, just, if you put in spotlights, that's totally cool, but I would try to leave them off by default, just as a general rule. And then allow for the player to turn them on easily when they want them on. That can make a lot of light sometimes. That's can be unwanted. And then you got, if you don't know how to turn them off, then you got to figure out, where's the control. If there's no control, then you got to like run around and manually hit each spotlight and power it off, which no one wants to do. But anyway, awesome creations so far. Like all of these are really, really cool. So the next one's a bigger creation. And Tactical Carrier MK2 Mod 1. This is by Jolly Roger. This one I did see on the workshop a while back, and I can't exactly say how long ago now. Time does fly, but definitely say probably somewhere around 2 years ago. So it's a little bit newer than some of these other ones, but it's still not super new. Now, what I really dig about this one is its overall shape. I think it's got just a killer looking shape on it. The staggered pieces that come out here, kind of in a series, really looks good in this case. Even at first I was thinking, well, geez, it doesn't have angles there, and like you could put in angle blocks, but in this case, that blunt surface like this, that little strip that you get in a consistent order going down the sides, really works. Really works for it. Now, if it tried to do it every other block or something like that, I don't think I would like it. But simple fact is, it's like it'll have like this strip, and then it'll do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 blocks, it looks like, on each one of those, which gives it a nice formation that actually makes it feel and look right. And then, of course, differences in coloring, like the black area down like the center of it, and some of it on the inside as well, or inside between the top and bottom, like armor pieces. Which, again, it's a sweet looking ship. I mean, and I was at first I was looking at it and like, wow, this is going to be awfully skinny. It's not going to have much room in there. But then when you take a look at the back of it, then I'm starting to see the same thing I do on a lot of ships, where you it's trying to hide a box so you can fit a decent sized hangar. And this looks like it does exactly that. And there you go. And then you've got your pretty good sized hangar in here. With a repair bay. And we have some spotlights on the inside. I guess I didn't turn those off yet. This is one that had a lot of spotlights on. I quickly checked in the P menu, and I didn't see any controls for spotlights. Maybe there's a switch inside here too. But one thing with the spotlights, obviously they light up stuff pretty good, but they're also kind of a performance hog inside the game, especially if you got a lot of spotlights running at once. It can lower frame rate a little bit. In this case, I don't think it's messing with anything. But anyway, so we got our hangar here. I just got to see what's upstairs in the hangar. Well, let's take the natural course. So it looks like we've got a central middle elevator in the front here, and if you go straight through there, in fact, interior view, you're gonna have to turn on night lighting here. Okay, it's just pretty bright in here. Alright. Oh, so then you got like a front exit. And then the stairway here will go up to some, looks like a food processor and whatnot. And, let's see. Let me get out to, it looks like a giant thruster. Oh, check out this room. So all of a sudden now we've got like some different colors going on here. Now we've got kind of a deeper red, and some yellow, some orange. some green. Yeah, it's got quite a lot of different colors and grays. Yeah, so it's really trying to do a lot of stuff with the color. Oh, I like the medical bay. That looks nice and neat and organized. Looks like it's got all its parts in there. I like the idea of the sink and the separate room for it too. That is pretty cool. Where does this go back here then? Like just to a room that a couple more doors. So we got another elevator going down there, and then we go into the central area here. Oh, so we've got a top landing bay on here as well to land like a SV right down through the top hangar doors. Above the hangar. So this is kind of where we were before. I wanted to see what was all up in here. I'm cheating a little bit, going flying through windows here. Oh, then we got some crew rooms. And okay, so then this is like heading back into towards the front of the ship. Engineering area over here. And yeah, this is an older creation again, so I don't think this has cargo systems. And I bet you if I take a look at the stats, yeah, okay, so it's running some RCS on here as well. Speaking of that, let's just see how this one plays. Okay, so this one's way above the limits, but by looking at the RCS count, assuming they are advanced RCS, because which they probably are, each one of these is 1.25 million CPU. So when you see the big scary CPU number here, understand that most of that is the RCS, and this would be compliant if the RCS were cut and the CPU blocks, yeah, and CPU blocks were added to it. Then we got kind of a large open area room over here with a window. Oh, we got a farm section down over there too. Let's try to walk around the proper way to get there. Oh, bridge, bar and lounge. Oh, this thing's got all kinds of stuff in it. Oh, that really caught me off guard with the blue ceiling there. I walked in, I'm like, is this windows up there? Nope, it's a blue ceiling. That's pretty cool. So our bar and lounge area, a lot of different colors and texture use throughout this ship. So it's not really staying following like the same thing over and over again. Oh, we got some carpeting in the bridge here, and interesting. So that's where the pilot seat is. So we have some glass on the sides, or maybe these are just LCDs. No, this looks like these are glass. Okay, but they okay, so it doesn't. They're not actual windows. That's kind of a neat looking effect. It almost looks like they are windows because you get that weird reflection on the windows inside the game. We have landing lights. Oh, that's probably those spotlights I was talking about there. We'll crank them all back on a minute, see if that's the case. Yeah, it's really not very dark here, is it? There we go. It's better. So yeah, now you can see all these spotlights that kick on the ship. Anyway, a couple other styling things that I do like these are kind of fake, and I keep on thinking how much of a great opportunity it would have been to actually put in some reverse thrusters actually in these housings. And they are. I see they're just shielded. Okay, so that was thought about. Yeah, it's just like, that'll look really cool if you seen a thruster through that. But it's probably blocked off so it could take more damage. Protect the thruster a little bit more. But yeah, anyway, very, very cool ship. And it does say Ares on the side, but Attack Carrier MK2 Mod 1 is actually what its official name was. So anyway, one of those really, really cool things. So next thing I wanted to show is a work in progress here by HeckenDiver. And take a look at this. It's certainly looking Creel. Now this started out as something that wasn't Creel, but as it came out, it looked pretty Creelish. So right now it's just, I don't think this is the end name on it. It's just listed as Big Shrimp, work in progress. And yeah, it's kind of got that Big Shrimp look. Now, one thing I noticed about this is that the rear landing gear is elevated a block or two above the front landing gear, or comes down a block or two over the front landing gear. But what that does for this is it gives it kind of that downward stance when it's parked. So it's kind of like looking down a little bit. I think it makes it look a little tougher and meaner that way. It's kind of a neat design aspect to it. And of course, you're seeing a lot of complexity in the shape on this one. All kinds of things going on everywhere, and the Creel texture type of stuff. It actually looks like it would be quite mean for combat. I'm looking at all these rows of turrets that are mounted in here, kind of all front facing, as well as a lot of launchers. Looks like it'd be a pretty fun ship to shoot stuff up with. Quite a lot of firepower on it. Then we got some artillery launchers. Now this is just a work in progress, so I can't say how much of it is done. I don't know if the interior is done up on this at this point in time, but definitely thought it was pretty cool. And this is not on the workshop. This is just something getting made right now. And I don't really want to, well, looks like we do have some interior going on here. I would say, yeah, no, it's work in progress. We'll back away from the interior. That is, I'm sure it wasn't meant to look all blocky like that. It's just not done yet. But yeah, it does have that kind of more organic look to it, which is something that I always wanted to do with the Creel. And one of their major influences was deep sea creatures, believe it or not. And that's kind of it. If you mix aliens and like Aliens franchise movies and deep sea creatures, that's kind of what I was trying to do with the Creel. But of course, when you get into the alien side of that, the kind of organic looking angles and shapes and curves and stuff just aren't terribly doable with the voxel blocks. So you gotta kind of compromise a lot. Anyway, yeah, no, that is definitely looking very, very cool. So, anyway, I imagine you'll see this on the workshop here at some point when it gets complete. And this is again by HeckenDiver. So there will be no link to get this one. Sorry, until it's done. But I'm sure you'll be able to get it here sooner or later. So last thing I want to do is show you another update to the space station I've been working on. And it's here, I'm going to go to night lighting just because I started working on the lighting. Basically, I'm still working from like the last video. I've been working on one side, interior side of the station. And I got some more of that done at this point in time. So when you kind of go up along here, what I did do is I'm trying to go really light on size class right now. So these rooms that you see on the different floors here and going up are trying to be kind of block light. I don't have like a lot of detail things going on right now, but what I did do on the center area, I ended up cutting the glass window out the back so I could put in a couple more furnace locations in here, which that worked out pretty good. So that fits good. And then walking along these side things, notice it's got a railing now. Woohoo! You got these two different rooms that are kind of symmetrical to either side that are just basically give you access to a bunch more 320K storage units. So there's 4 on each thing, and then a couple constructor mount bays. Again, final detailing has not been done here. I just kind of was trying to get the base textures on, trying to figure out how I want to color it. The floor, I love to do something different with the floors in these areas, but they are mostly made up of cargo extensions, so I have very limited textures I can use on a floor. And I'm on experimental right now, the alpha experimental 1.5. I did do that when I was trying to get in HeckenDiver's ship. It did not allow me to spawn it until I was in experimental. So obviously we've got a new model here for the texture color tool. It looks like it works the same. It's just a new model. The thing with cargo extensions is this is your pretty much your textures that you get, and that's it. So, you know, if I wanted to do other things like carpet or even a lot of the walk surfaces like I use this a lot for walk surfaces. I can't do any of that. So really the only thing I can go down to is just metal and paint it a color. It's kind of boring. I'd like to do more with it, but it's kind of limited due to the textures available and the amount of cargo extensions that are actually loaded up on this side of the station. And the farm area is getting a little bit more tweaked out. I have not went to these end rooms yet. I was just going to try to work out that and the elevator and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to get some of the stuff kind of textured as I go. Put in some green in these areas. One thing that's bugging me is I got a constructor hole below, and it cuts into the fake or the bottom farm blocks that I've got. And this is one issue why it's easier. It's certainly easier to include the grow plots as to have them removed. I mean, this isn't the end of the world over here. I don't like seeing that hole there, but what I did have to do is either you put in filler blocks in this row, which I guess I could do, or I put in filler blocks on the row below it. So I ended up doing that in like a lot of these areas. That's why you see some of the stuff like what you got going on here. Like I had to build up a block row on the bottom, and then I used that opportunity to play with the shapes a little bit to make something, and then I painted it a couple different colors. I am trying to get some color in here too. But overall, kind of when I'm flying around here, what I'm actually thinking about, and I don't know how many of you ever played XCOM or the XCOM games, but when you're like looking at your like base or your base ship, depending on what version of the game you're playing, it had some kind of like layout to like this, kind of like you're looking through the whole thing at a side view like this. And the station seems to naturally accomplish that with little effort because of how it's all built up along the side. So I have decided that these areas over on both sides over here are going to be dedicated for just elevated landing pads in the hangar. And the sides around over here, this is where I'm going to try to pack in a lot of storage. Of course, there'll be a walkway like on the outer edge going around, so you can do a full circle around the top floors of the hangar, at least on this floor. But a lot of this, again, is trying to keep the size class lower, and I'm going to have to put in a lot of like block work and stuff over here. Now on solar's been driving me insane with this build. What I think I'm going to, in the end result, what I'm going to do, I think, and it's the only solution I can really come up with, and it's not perfect, and I don't like it, but I'm going to have to remove a lot of solar panels. I can keep on, like, you know, maybe solar on this side, and then cut them on the other two sides, but I'll try to, like, and fill them in with blocks. But intended to be removed in Reforged Eden. And then, I don't know, in vanilla, I guess you just, to keep the formations right, you'll get, well, let's see, we can do 15 solar panels. So I wonder if I just did, let's see, so we got 4. Well, you see, if I had 4 on each side, that'd be 16. That still doesn't work out. And you still got that one oddball. So maybe I'll keep like 12 on it stock. Maybe 2 sides have solar panels stock and 2 sides are filled in with blocks. But maybe I'll put in something, you know, hey, remove those blocks, put in solar panels if you're in Reforged Eden. And that's so then I can release it for both vanilla and Reforged Eden. So my next next project on this probably is going to be to I really got to work out the engineering. I want to get this part done down over here, so I want to get it. You know, it needs a home for the generator, shield, fuel tanks, gravity generator, everything engineering related down there, and then figure out how I'm going to do the elevator getting down to here. This room will probably save for last. This I'm thinking is going to be like a this will probably be the fluff room. I got enough space. I don't know what else to put down here. So I'm thinking this will be like some kind of like lounge, restaurant, bar kind of thing. You know, when everybody like comes in, they can go check out down there. And then I don't have to add so much up here. Now, crew rooms is another thing I thought about. Again, that stuff really ramps up size class quickly though, and why I'm freaked out. I'm not concerned at all about CPU, but size class I'm at 9, pretty even right now. It's not so bad, but I'll have to see how much size class I have left over. Again, my hard cap on this is going to be size class 14 because I want to be able to use it on the season 3 of the Reforged Eden Anvil server, and yeah, I'm gonna have to keep the size class at that level. So I've got essentially 6 more size classes to work with to finish up the rest of this, and I'll try to do it as nicely as I can. But right now, until I know I have more size class, I'm trying to keep a lot of the rooms kind of light on stuff, so I don't got intricacies all over the place yet. But that's all part of final detailing too. When I get the overall thing done and see how much available size class I have left to add in detail things, unnecessary detail things, I'll say. So anyway, that's pretty much all I've got for today, and yeah, this is kind of fun, going through the workshop and taking a look at stuff and other things that come across, like the ship here by HeckenDiver. And there's some really amazing things on the workshop, and I'm certainly not going to run out of more things to look at. There's a lot, and there's some from memory that I haven't yet found. I remember seeing certain things that I thought were really, really cool in the past, but the workshop, man, I think it did a top 100,000 creations on there or something like that. It's a lot. So trying to find these based off, you don't really remember the name of it or the author, and you're just going by pictures. There's a lot to look through. So I'm just trying to pull in a lot of the ones that I think are neater, and I'm trying to certainly get to keep on moving from different authors. So far on this would be the third part of this. I haven't like repeated the same authors. A lot of these authors have several other things up there. Like there's another one by Two Links that's looks amazing. I will get to those at some point, but I did want to like try to be fair and just keep on showing like different author creations and stuff that were in the best rated areas of all time. So that's why it's kind of a mix. You might see some newer creations in there, but a lot of these are older. But it's cool, and I'm usually making my picks based on certain, on their overall screenshot and aesthetics of it, and certain like practices that were used with building these different creations. Like some I really dial in on the overall shaping. Like this one, I think has a really awesome shape to it. Others I might look at as in certain features of it, or how it was colored, or how it was textured, or the attention to detail. But one of the biggest things for me that I look at, and I try to do the same myself, is on that last aspect, attention to detail. I mean, you could make a non-functional like tree house in the game. That's a tree with a neat looking house like mounted to the side of it. It doesn't serve game function very well for anybody. But if it looks really cool and it's got a lot of attention to detail, it's the kind of thing I want to check out, because I'm more into the art side of things. Of course, this is all technical art, I would kind of consider. So it's kind of like, okay, you're an artist, but you also got to make it work. So, but a lot of things, I'd like to look at some creations that don't necessarily have a good function in game. They're just made to be very artsy, and I do like that too. That's mainly what you would see in a lot of Minecraft builds, is people make some really neat things that might not have like Minecraft function, but they're like cities and temples and crazy stuff that looks really cool, and we all like to see really cool stuff. Anyway, you all have yourself a good day. I will talk to you later.